It needs to be bold, it needs to be simple.
Either took down the shooter's account or tried to...
We're not just sitting back and thinking, no touch wood, everything's going to be okay.
2 people on the ground.
It's always the same story, whatever the ideology is. Always.
It affects everybody.
Mark the start of another painful chapter in his story. On Friday,
We need to have a strategy when we respond, and it needs to be ready.
Manhunt is underway in the French city of Strasbourg after a shooter opened fire in a Christmas market. There have been fatalities and around a dozen people have been injured. Some of them are thought to be in a critical condition.
That absolute chaos at the scene in the immediate aftermath is really, really palpable. But then what happens is the conversations will be taken online.
It's the social media, all the major conversations and opinions are on there.
Of course, everyone has his own opinion ready to justify what they think about it.
The gunman, reportedly known to security services, fled the scene, launching a ground and air search.
So then when you have the vacuum, it's empty and it's full of occasions actually for people to have their own narrative about it.
WhatsApp starts ringing off.
Yeah.
There's a chain of messages that people are passing around and forwarding.
And it's all this conspiracy stuff and things just start, getting out of hand and it's all fake news.
So for example, the London Bridge, they're saying it's a hoax.
Yeah, it's a hoax.
That was being spread everywhere. Yeah. And then I remember I had to say, a few times, I had to sort of push the counter narrative out to say, it wasn't a hoax, it's very much real.
I think people use these horrific, inexcusable events to occupy that space and then push these hidden agendas of poisonous, toxic hatred.
They always use the same words: purity, destruction of otherness, good, bad, and nothing in the middle.
That's exactly why the first moments after an attack are exactly where you have to get your message right.
Police say that the attacker live streamed the horrifying shooting. We know that. I saw some of it, so did my colleagues. It is horrible stuff.
It was such a specific strategy for him to get his communications out there, and then everyone, including the big social media companies, were just playing catch up.
We know the attack was live streamed. We know the video was subsequently posted.
This stuff just gets pumped out, and whether you're looking for it or not, it's so easy to come across it.
It's really important to have a strong, clear narrative that we can respond with, because obviously so many different opinions are being shared.
So that the media reports are full of the positivity of what can happen in there and actually challenging the terrorist narrative, which is to polarise further.
It needs to be bold, it needs to be simple.
It might be events or workshops or a campaign.
Different platforms.
Yeah, using different platforms to deliver our message in different styles.
I think being prepared is really, really key, and so that enables the response to be quite rapid.
You need those partnerships built over time,
Yeah.
and an action plan of how you're going to use them when you need to put them in place.
You have people from all different levels involved, from bottom up.
I remember my very first day working in Leicester was in the immediate aftermath of the Manchester Arena attack, and we used those existing networks and WhatsApp groups in order to bring a community forum together in a restaurant to discuss what our local resilience was.
Plein de fois, il y a plein de jeunes qui sont arrêtés, qui ont fait des interviews, qui ont essayé de redorer l'image de Molenbeek. On a fait des minutes silencieuses là, parce que mais ça sert à rien. Après, quand on voit les journaux sur BFM ou bien sur LCI, on voit comment ils parlent de Molenbeek. C'est comme s'ils parlaient d'une base de djihadistes, presque. Alors qu'il n'y a rien à voir.
I can see there is a market of fear where the media thrive. Talking about Islam versus the West, which doesn't make any sense to me. And it's nurturing the communication.
It needs to be the communities that are affected. They need to drive the language and the response. And it's really critical that there is that support from the authorities.
What is needed in these towns and cities is these networks to be established in advance of anything like this happening.
We're not just sitting back and thinking, no touch wood, everything's going to be okay. We're resilient and we're able to respond to it.
You have already that partnership going on, and of course you can rely on people you know, people you work on.
People you trust.
People you trust, exactly.
And who trust you. It's a two-way thing, I think.
Exactly.
When you stigmatize someone, it's because you forget that this person is a person and you think this person, because of his color, of this religion or whatever, you will define these people without thinking about his own individuality.
The community have so much to say.
Yeah.
But it's not, if they not feel like it's not being represented, then maybe there needs to be a formalised strategy of how this message comes from the bottom up.
She comforted and she listened.
I am happy to take any questions that anyone might have.
It shows she's human.
How am I? Thank you for asking. I'm very sad.
I think we saw that earlier though, it's like engaging the whole community and making sure people have a space to be brought in and speak together has to be part of the response.
And I'm sure a lot of that is also down to the relationships that have been built prior to the attack. If you don't have those relationships in place in communities, then it's going to be very difficult for those in authority to engage, to understand the tone, to listen.
It's not just about one community here, we're talking about everyone, because it affects everyone, Muslim or non-Muslim or any background. We're all humans, it affects everybody.
Coming together rather than sowing the seeds of division even further, because it's the division that the terrorists and extremists thrive on, really.